Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. The other day I showed you how to make this really cute desk accessory box, little desk organizer caddy with the cute little cubbies inside. Well, today I'm going to show you how to make some accessories to go inside. Today's video is brought to you by Papermart. You can check them out online at www.papermart.com. That's where I got that cute desk that we decorated the other day. And you can also find flat back marbles and this lovely measuring tape ribbon there. So do check them out. I'm sure you'll find even more stuff that you can't live without. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make these lovely little push pins, and they only take a couple minutes to make. So the first thing you want to do is get a flat back marble, and do you remember how I asked you to save all your paper scraps the other day when we were covering the box? Well, I hope you did, because that's what we're going to use. So here I've just got a tiny scrap, and I'm going to add a little hot glue to the back of this. If you don't have a hot glue gun, or if you're working with children, you can use any clear glue. You just need to wait for it to dry. And the cool thing about this is that the magnets of flat-backed marbles will actually magnify whatever you have underneath. Even this tiny little scrap is usable. It's really great for any scraps of paper that you have with tiny prints. You can even use like an old catalog. I found that like swimsuit catalogs that are really great because the patterns are so tiny that you can put these on the fabric swatches, and they're just the right size. Here's some washi paper that has some really small patterns on there. I'm going to show you how that looks on there. You need just enough glue so that it's going to completely squish over and cover the back of the marble so that you won't see any lines. See how good that magnifies that there? I'm going to bring it up a little closer. Alright, so after you have the magnets glued down, you simply want to cut around them. And of course, hot glue dries pretty much instantly. You can go right ahead and do that. You can even cut through any glue that may have leaked out over the edges. And you can see how quickly this project goes. Now, if you're worried that hot glue isn't going to be strong enough to hold these to the thumbtacks, I will tell you that they are. I made a bunch of these for my display board for my last couple craft fairs, and I used them to pin things like little baggies of earrings and whatnot up to my display boards, and they held up really well. And people actually asked if they could buy them right from my display. I did sell some, but then I realized I needed to keep a bunch of them, so I think I'll be making some sets for my next craft fair. But this is such an easy project that kids can do. Again, if they're real small, have them use just regular glue to glue them down and let them dry for a couple hours. Now you just need to glue them to some thumbtacks. These are just dollar store. You get 300 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Certainly an affordable craft. Since the marbles are like, a penny a piece at Papermart, they may be like 1.2 cents each or something. Let's see how cute that is. I'm not going to stick it in my board until I've given it a couple seconds to dry. Look at me, I'm using my glue gun left-handed. Oh my goodness, I get more talented every day, folks. Just kidding there. I'm not really that narcissistic. Just a little ambidextrous, I guess. Alright, and there we have some very sweet little push pins. And then to store them, I just cut like a little square of foam core. You could use cardboard or styrofoam packaging. Anything that you had that you could recycle would work great. And I'm just sticking them in there, and that will go inside our box in a couple of minutes. So you can see them kind of pushing out the back. You could use 2 layers if you're afraid that someone might poke themselves, but I mean, I think most adults can handle thumbtacks. Now, I think those are just adorable. Alright, to do these cute little clips, I just used a paper punch. If you don't have a paper punch, you can just cut circles or even use decorative scissors to give you a fancy edge. So I cut some scallop circles using this punch by Fiskars. And then I punched some of my scraps into 1.5-inch circles. Again, hand cut them. If you don't have a punch or a die cutter, that's no big deal. It'll look charming. It'll look like those really sweet lollipop flowers that have been very trendy over the last couple of years, of the kind of like old quilt looking flowers. And then I'm just going to glue on a couple buttons. I've got the same buttons I used to decorate the outside of my box. I like to keep stuff the same so that, like, throughout a set, so that it all matches. Put a couple buttons on there. Originally, I was going to use flattened bottle caps for this, but I was worried that the weight might be a little much to hold them to the little paper clips that we're going to glue them onto. So I decided to go with punch scraps of cardstock. Plus, everyone has scraps of cardstock, so I knew that that would be useful for everyone. Now, if you get a lot of glue strings, I do have a tip for that. When you're all done, you can just blast your project with a heat gun or a hair dryer, and that will just make the glue strings disappear, which is really, really handy. So then on the back, I've got these jumbo paper clips. These are also from the dollar store. You get 70 for $1. And they're really fun. I love making these little bookmarks. So you simply want to put a generous amount of glue on the back of that scalloped circle. And then you want to put the skinny end of the paper clip in there, kind of hiding those two sharp edges. And then sandwich it with another circle. And you can even go ahead and put a contrasting circle on the back. So it's kind of finished from both sides. Now, I really like these for teacher appreciation gifts because, for one, the kids can make it. You can use tacky glue and they can just let it dry. You don't have to use hot glue for this because I know kids and hot glue don't always mix. And seriously, it'll work just as well. Now, the nice thing about this is when the teacher clips this in their assignment book or their teaching book, it's going to kind of create a flag at the top of their book, and it's just very handy. They don't have to use those throwaway Post-it notes. They can just use those instead. Now, for these little adorable ribbon-topped clips, all you need to do is cut 6 inches point to point of a ribbon. You can't see my measuring tape. Let me shove that up here. So actually, it's really only using about 4 because you get to count the points in your measurement. And I need my ribbon scissors. Always keep separate scissors for your ribbon and cloth. Because if you use your paper scissors, they're not going to do the trick and you'll just end up dulling. So just keep a separate pair of scissors for ribbon. I tie a piece of ribbon on it, and I tell my husband, do not use these scissors when you're wrapping gifts. I have gift wrapping scissors. These are the special scissors. And then, of course, he teases me about it and says, oh, I just wrapped 20 presents with those scissors with a ribbon on them. He's hilarious. What can I say? All right, so we've got, brief aside, we have our ribbon cut, and then simply take one of these clips, and on the skinny end, what you're going to do is a lark's head knot. So you're going to fold your ribbon in half, and you're going to push the fold through the loop on the paper clip. This is also how you would capture a donut if you were doing jewelry making, or how you would string a tag for scrapbooking or card making. So then you want to push the ends through the loop and pull them up nice and snug, and what you end up with is a very neat and tidy knot. See how it kind of like wraps around like a necktie there? And then to finish off, you want to grab a little fray check or clear nail polish or clear glue, something so that you can put along the edges of these ribbon ends so they won't fray. The nice thing about fray check is it does go a little invisible. Once it's dry, I can show you. It dries very quickly too. But you can see here, I've got the fray check on there. It's a little stiffer on the end, but you can't tell, you can't see. It hasn't stained the fabric. So, and a little bottle of this is a couple bucks and it lasts you a long time. I think I got mine at the sewing store at Joann's, I think. And I probably bought it, 5 or 10 years ago, and it's still going strong. I think I have still most of a bottle there. All right, so now let's put these in our darling little box. We're going to slide off our lid. And we're going to set our little thing of thumbtacks right in there. You could put a little tissue in there, make it fancy if you want to for gift giving. I'm just going to put all these in just randomly. Our little clips in one compartment. Now this other compartment, you may want to put some candy, but I found these, actually my husband found these little Post-it notes, little Post-it note pads, note cubes. And I thought that'd be really cute with a simple length of ribbon tied around it. And what I do, here's a little tip to kind of save your ribbon a little bit. When you're tying on some ribbon, keep it on the spool. If you can tie it when it's on the spool, then you're not going to end up having to trim off an end and losing a few inches of ribbon. I know it's just a few inches, but when you get to the end of the roll, it might make the difference of being able to do a whole extra project or not. So I like to do that. And you know, teachers are so resourceful that I bet they would take that ribbon off and save it and use it for something else. So I think that looks really cute. And you can fray check the ends of that as well. And then just pop it right in the box, and you have a cute little accessory set, teacher appreciation gift, desk caddy thingy to give as a gift or keep for yourself because it's so darn cute. Thank you so much for watching today. I want to thank Papermart again for sponsoring our video. You can check them out online at www.papermart.com, where we make you look even better. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.